We're in section 2.3 again, and we're doing example 2. We're going to be talking about a law called the Law of Detachment. It really is not that complicated, I don't think. We're verifying conjectures by using the Law of Detachment. Now, basically what the law states is if P then Q is a true statement and P is true, then Q will also be true. So if you have a true statement and you have your hypothesis is true, then your conclusion will be true. Okay? Now if you don't have a true statement and your hypothesis is false, then Q won't be true. Okay? So we're trying to determine the validity. We're going to, in these next two examples, we're going to mark them either valid, the conjecture is valid, which means it's true, or the conjecture is not valid, using this law of detachment. You may want to grab your blue and red markers again, highlighters, pens, whatever you've been doing. Remember, when we've done blue, blue has been our hypothesis, and red has been our conclusion. Okay, so we may want to color code these to kind of help with this a little bit. All right, so given if two segments are congruent, so right here, let's underline that in blue, if two segments are congruent. They're saying if two pieces of a line have the same exact length, okay? So that's definitely true. Then, let's change colors, then they have the same length. There's our conclusion, right? And that's also true, okay? So our hypothesis is true. When we have segments that are congruent, then that means that they are the same length. And they're telling us that segment AB is congruent. And I'm going to circle this in blue. Segment AB is congruent to segment XY. And so the conjecture is that AB, the length of AB, see how they did the symbolism? There's no segment symbol over the top of AB or XY. And then they're saying the length of AB is equal to XY. So far, everything up here is true, including the conjecture. So we would have to say, yeah, this is definitely valid based on the law of detachment. We have a true statement. So our given statement, our if-then statement is true. Our hypothesis is true. And so our conclusion is true as well. Okay, now if the conclusion, the conjecture is not true, then what you have to consider is this: you need to find a counterexample. That's what you need to do. Okay. So let's take a look. I need to give a little bit more information. It looks like in letter B, I did not put the conjecture down. So let me keep my red up here and let's write the conjecture. And the conjecture is this: Shay was tardy at least 3 times. Shay was tardy at least 3 times. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. Let me go back to blue because that's our hypothesis. So here's the first part. If you're tardy 3 times, so you know when that happens, so that's true. That can happen. You can be tardy 3 times. And then let's look at the conclusion. You must go to detention. Okay, so that's probably a school rule. Okay. Shay is in detention is what we're saying. So that means that Shay was tardy at least 3 times. Okay. And so let's think about this. Are there other ways? This is a great question to ask yourself. Are there other ways to be sent to detention? Okay, now you guys are all in school. and I'm not implying that you've ever been to detention, but you probably are aware of the rules. Are there other ways to be sent to detention other than being tardy to a class 3 times? And hopefully you're like, yeah, actually, there are other things. Maybe she didn't do her homework. There may be other reasons. Maybe she mouthed off to a teacher, or she got into a fight with somebody, or wrote a bad note. You know, there are other ways. There are a lot of other ways that you can be sent to detention besides being tardy. And so we would say that this particular situation is not valid, okay, because there are other ways to be sent to detention other than tardies. So I know that was kind of a weird one. Example 2 is definitely kind of really going to challenge your thinking, but you're looking for validity. You know, if the hypothesis and conclusion are true in your statement, and then your conjecture and your matches up with your other given statements, then you can say it's valid. But otherwise, if you find a counterexample like we just did in letter B, that there are other ways to be sent to detention, doesn't mean she was tardy at least 3 times necessarily. If she's in detention, it could be another reason. Then it's not valid based on what was given. All right, now if you have questions, write those down and let's bring those to class. Thanks for listening.